Hello and welcome back to Art Masters with me, Mrs. Portilla. Today we are going to be doing art by Edgar Degas. I love his art. He does these great images of ballerinas. He did orchestras and horse races, and he really captured things almost like a photo with a lot of movement. No one's looking right at the camera. It looks like he captured them in the moment of what they were doing. So he was actually a great artist. He could draw, he could sculpt. So today we're going to be doing a grid drawing, which means we're going to split up our image. We are either going to do a horse or a ballerina, and these are separated into grids. You're going to get this blue piece of paper that's separated into grids, and then we're going to go box by box and draw our image. But instead of using our very analytical left brain, where we like to plan, we are going to do our right brain, where we're a little bit more creative. We can feel, we can enjoy what we're doing. And a way to do that, to turn off our left brain, you guys love this, is we turn our image upside down. And then we're going to get started deciding on if we want to do a horse or a ballerina. And we're going to get creative with Edgar Degas. All right, guys, so we are going to do our grid drawing today. So we're just going to draw box by box. So instead of thinking about drawing a ballerina, I'm going to do a ballerina and I'm going to do a horse today. So you could decide which one you want to do. I'm going to start with the ballerina. So I'm going to turn her upside down. And I'm going to turn my paper upside down. This way I'm not thinking that it's a ballerina. I'm just drawing what I see. So we're going to go box by box. I'm sure you guys have figured out 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So even though this is smaller, I'm going to be drawing it in these boxes. It's just going to be a little bit bigger. So the first box I look at, I like to have 2 little pieces of paper to cover up each spot so I could focus on each box. So I'm focusing on the second box here. And what I like to do is within each box, you measure the middle. So this is about the middle of the box horizontally. You see how I'm cutting the box in half? And this is about the middle of this little box. I like to put little dashes. You could just use your pencil if you want to measure the middle, but that's what I'll be referring to a lot with measuring. Even though this is super tiny, I'm gonna draw what I see. So you could use dots or you could just draw, but I'm seeing that this foot is right below the horizontal middle line and this one's right above. So I'm going to use some dots to draw. Same. So this is about the middle and the middle, and this curve right here, I'm going to put a dot. It's not quite touching the top line. And it's just to the right of this middle. So I'm going to put a dot. Okay, I would do the same thing here. I'm going to put a dot about there. Okay. And then where it intersects the line is I'm just making a curve and stopping on that line. And then, let's see. This is my middle. This line goes a little bit to the right of the middle. So I'm going to put my pencil here, put my finger there, and I'm going to add a dot. And I'm just kind of connecting the dots. I see there's another line right next to that. So I'm going to put a little dot there. And then this, I'm going to put a little line there. That's below this line. So I'm going to put a little dot. And if I want to measure, it's right about in the middle of the paper. The square. And just above the middle this way. So I'm using the horizontal middle and the vertical middle to kind of measure. And then I'm using dots to mark my place. And then I'm using my eyeballs to decide what the curve of the line should look like. And then at the end, we'll go over everything and make it look the way we'd like. Okay, I'm going to put a point for this spot right here. So you could see it's just below this horizontal middle and to the left of the vertical middle. So I'm going to find that here and I'm going to put that about there. and it's a curved shape. I'm kind of just looking at the outline of the shape, making a curve to the dot, and then I see that it goes in and then down. In and then down. And you can see that it's not right next to its partner. It's got some space. So I'm gonna go right about there. And again, once we're done, we can make this look a little bit better when we're using our left brain again. Now I'm looking for other details that I missed. Okay, there's this curving line here. So I'm gonna kind of go like that. I see, a curve here. So I'm going to make a curve there. I see a little line here. And I'm seeing this little wavy line just at the bottom of my paper. Not quite at the corner and not quite at the bottom. So I'm gonna go like this. Okay. You can mark it with dots and then you're gonna connect the lines. And I like to use my pencil to kind of measure where the middle of the box is. So for our horse, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna turn it upside down and we're gonna go box by box. So you can see the first box doesn't have anything. The second box just has some lines, not quite at the middle and the bottom. So that's about the middle. So I'm gonna draw just what I see. Then I'm gonna go to the next box. It has a dot. This last box here just has a little squiggle kind of in the middle of the paper. You just have a line here, and now I'm on this box, and now you have some details to work with. I'm gonna put a dot right in the middle at the bottom here and put this little wavy line. Starting at the bottom, but not quite all the way to the edge, I'm gonna put a dot. And right about at the middle of the box is where this line goes. So I'm gonna go here, and then I'm gonna kind of draw what I see. And then you're gonna move to the next box and so on. And so pause the video and you could go through the horses or the ballerina. And I will come back and I'm gonna work on some of the boxes. Fast forward. On this, you could just take your time, really measuring and going box by box and drawing what you see. Okay, so you could see how I went from box to box and I just drew what I saw. I'm using my pencil to measure the middle of each box, and I'm putting dots and connecting the lines. So keep on going box by box, using your pencil to measure and drawing what you see. And then when we're done with our initial drawing, we'll turn it over and we'll make any fixes that we need. So I'm going to continue finishing the ballerina, and then I will move on to the horse while you guys work. Okay, great job, guys. You might still be working, but you should at least have an initial sketch where you've gone through each box and you've tried your best to copy what was in that box by using measurements with your pencil and measuring the middle. So now I don't love everything I have, so I'm gonna turn it over and I'm gonna go to my horse and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm actually gonna go through each box and I'm just gonna fix any sketches that I feel like look wrong. This is kind of standing out to me, so I'm going to measure. That's right at the halfway, and that's a little past the halfway. So I'm just going to do the same thing and kind of measure, connecting some of my shapes now and trying to sketch to make it look more like what I want. So now I'm going to go to this box. I'm seeing that there's a little bit more detail there. So go ahead and go through, look at each box, but now kind of look at it as a horse. We're turning our left brain back on, and we're going to start to think about how can we make this look like a horse. I missed this kind of circle thing there. And with my ballerina, same thing. Okay, now I'm realizing, oh, this is a head, and that's some hair. That's right about at the halfway mark. Mine's past the halfway mark, so I'm going to make her head a little bit smaller. So I'm just kind of fixing my measurements, and now I'm kind of making it look like what I want it to look like. So continue drawing, but you could turn it, once you've gone through all the boxes, turn it right side up. And now you're going to go through and just kind of check your measurements and fix anything you want with your pencil. All right, awesome job, guys. Once you feel like you're kind of happy with your sketch, we're going to go over it with black pen. So now we are thinking about what we're drawing. We're going over and connecting all of our lines. We're not really thinking about the grid any longer. So go ahead and grab your special black pen, and you're going to use your image to go over it with black pen, kind of ignoring the grid line now. And then once we do that, we'll add a little bit of color. So if you guys have time after you've done your pencil drawings, you could go through and you're going to erase any pencil lines that are showing through. And then if you have time, you're going to just add a little bit of pastel. Degas liked to use pastel. He experimented a lot, and he just used very kind of vivid brushy strokes. So we're not going to do super detailed stuff. We'll just add a couple of colors, and then we will blend it. And so I'm going to grab my pastels, any color. This one, they actually just colored the background and didn't color the inside, which looks cool. So you could watch me and fast forward as I grab my pastels and I use the side to just lightly fill in, nothing too detailed. Okay, and you'll see that I just kind of went along the outside and I left a lot of blank space. So I did that for a reason. So now I'm going to use my tissue and I'm going to just blend. I like to do little circles to blend. And then if you notice, I just kind of pull the color into the center of her dress, but I'm leaving some space, and that kind of gives it some depth, makes it a little three-dimensional. So I'm going to take my tissue and I'm going to blend the colors, just leaving a light hint of color and pulling it into my negative space. But great job, everyone, doing your projects with Degas. Put your name on the back, and you can mount it on your colored paper and glue your Degas card. And if you have time, you guys could evaluate each other's work. Great job today. Awesome job today, guys. I know you love turning your images upside down and turning off that left brain today. I hope that you guys got some great images. Maybe you did a horse and you were able to draw everything, and then when you turned it upside down and right side up, it looked amazing. Maybe you did a ballerina and you were able to really get her dress and the line work and a little bit of color. And I hope if you guys have time today, you'll be able to evaluate each other's works and drawings using pastels. And I hope you enjoyed Art Masters with Edgar Degas.